Chapter 11 One-Year Agreement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Number 17, Nanxiao Road, Wild Dog Bar. Lu Changsheng looked at Lu Jiangming, who was standing aside in surprise, and asked, "I thought the black market would develop secretly in the corner of the corner, but I didn't expect the black market in lynching to be so upright. It's only 3 blocks away from the Demon Slayer division at most. Street distance." Lu Jiangming introduced with a smile. This is said to be a black market, but in fact it can barely be regarded as the property of the Demon Slayer division. The black market cannot be eliminated anyway, so it is better to manage it officially. On the one hand, it can generate income, and on the other hand, it can also bring in those idle awakened people. Manage it. As long as you become an awakened person, you will inevitably use various resources on the road of cultivation. As long as you control the source, those idle awakened people will not be able to make waves. Lu Changsheng nodded. It seemed that he was overcomplicating things. Since there was official endorsement, he thought there would be no need to use a knife in tonight's transaction. Drop, dash. Just as Lu Changsheng was about to enter the bar, the red light at the security gate turned on. You can't bring metal objects into the bar. The burly security guard stared at Lu Changsheng with evil eyes. If Lu Jiangming hadn't been the guarantor, he would not have let this stranger in. When you go out, you should always bring some weapons for self-defense. I'm sorry. He silently took out the dagger from his back, took out 2 folding knives from his socks, took out 4 blades from the inside of his coat, took out an invisible fishing line from his belt, and put them all to the security guard on the table. Lu Jiangming and the security guard looked at Lu Changsheng blankly. Are you here to trade or to rob? After completing a series of actions, Lu Changsheng entered the door again. Drop, dash, the bell rang again. Anything else? The security guard frowned. Is it possible that the machine is broken? Lu Jiangming and the security guard were stunned at the same time, and shouted together, "Take it out." "Just take it, why are you shouting so loudly?" Lu Changsheng turned his trousers pockets inside out and took out a few special steel nails from the corner. As long as they were held between his fingers, they could be used as simple tiger fingers. This time Lu Changsheng finally passed the security check. The security guard was shocked and walked into the dingo bar. "Boss Lu, do you always carry so many weapons with you?" Lu Jiangming lowered his voice and asked quietly. "There are monsters in this world, and you can't be too careful. If you ask me, you should be more prepared. If I hadn't arrived in time last time, you would have been killed by the sea monster." Lao Lu, with bare hands. The time has long since passed. Lu Jiangming was speechless and could only lead Lu Changsheng to a booth in the bar angrily. As soon as the two of them sat down, there was a beautiful bunny girl holding a menu and placing it on the table. Before leaving, she winked at Lu Changsheng mischievously. "Boss Lu, on the menu are the goods on the black market tonight. If you like something, just write down the corresponding number, and the bar will arrange a middleman to help complete the transaction." Lu Changsheng nodded and silently calculated his savings. Under the condition of ensuring survival, he could still come up with 120,000 in cash. The crystal core was probably out of business. According to the price Lu Jiangming told him, it should be enough to buy 2. It's a demon pill, item number 011. Demon pill price, 59,000. Item number 004. Crystal core price, 299,000, tradable. What does tradable mean? Lu Changsheng pointed to the crystal core on the menu and asked a little doubtfully. Some sellers are not short of money, and they will use hard currency such as crystal cores in exchange for transactions. After all, the Wild Dog Bar is a semi-official black market, and some transactions cannot be made public. As long as it's not a particularly bad incident, we usually turn a blind eye. After all, the black market charges a commission for every transaction. But there is one thing, Boss Lu, you have to pay attention. Lu Jiangming's expression suddenly became serious. Purchasing a murderer to kill someone is not a terrorist act. If the seller proposes a deal in this area, don't agree. Well, I'm a law-abiding citizen, don't worry. Lu Changsheng decisively checked the number 004 and made a note to accept the transaction. He planned to see the seller's needs first. If it was too difficult, he would turn around and buy the demon pill. Law-abiding citizens would not carry so many weapons with them, not to mention stabbing a third-level sea monster to death. Lu Jiangming cursed in his heart. The bunny girl returned to the booth again, glanced at the menu, enthusiastically took Lu Changsheng's arm, and motioned to follow her. Lu Changsheng did not get up immediately, but waited until Lu Jiangming nodded gently, and then followed the bunny girl into a small box in the bar. The seller was already waiting in the box. As soon as Lu Changsheng sat down, the bunny girl exited the box in time. The soundproofing of the room was very good. The loud music outside, the drunken people's voices urging them to drink, and the yelling completely disappeared when the door was closed. Lu Changsheng looked at the seller in surprise. He did not expect that the person who could trade the crystal core was actually a child. The young man has short black hair, and his bangs gently rest on his forehead, making him look a little childish. Wearing a blue t-shirt with a superhero that Lu Changsheng didn't recognize printed on it, it was worn and deformed. Compared with that childish face, the boy's eyes were unusually indifferent, completely lacking the liveliness that a normal child should have, and looked lifeless. A 4th-level crystal core in exchange for you taking me in for a year. Don't ask about my identity or my background. I will leave after a year, and the crystal core will be yours. Deal? That the boy's voice was even colder than his eyes. Lu Changsheng frowned slightly, and an ominous premonition flashed through his mind. In most novels, taking in a child whose origins are unknown is easy to be cheated, not to mention that it will take a year to get paid. Who can guarantee that this boy will not take him for free for a year and find a random excuse to slip away? No. Lu Changsheng was about to refuse, but the words got stuck in his throat, because the system prompt sound came. Detected that there is a suitable apprentice within 5 meters of the host. New task refreshed. Take Guanshan as a disciple 0/1. Task reward, 100 mall coins, 20,000 bonus, 1 skill extraction opportunity. Lu Changsheng's pupils suddenly contracted, and the look in his eyes when he looked at the boy changed. 1 more disciple means 1 more person to help Lu Changsheng practice. It means more mall coins. Lu Changsheng was overjoyed. He was afraid of scaring the child away, so he had to take a deep breath and suppress the impulse in his heart. He said in a calm tone. Deal. But I have an additional condition. You must become my disciple first. Lu Changsheng's eyes were full of desire, and the boy's scalp tingled. He had been in the Wild Dog Bar for almost a month, and had made many transactions during this period, but he was rejected every time. Only this person did not mean to refuse, but why does this person in front of him feel a little abnormal? Chapter 12. I'll just call you a leftover dog. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Guan Shan looked at the transaction object in front of him, and his heart was full of entanglement. The reason why he could stay in the Wild Dog Bar temporarily was all because of the favors his parents had when they were alive. Now that his parents were gone, the favors slowly turned into disgust. He had already felt that the black market boss was getting more and more impatient with him. Once Guan Shan was kicked out of the Wild Dog Bar, the crystal core on him would no longer be a hot commodity that everyone wanted, but his death warrant. After all, many people in the bar knew what his transaction object was. Guan Shan closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened his eyes again, the hesitation in his eyes disappeared, replaced by a firmness and ruthlessness that was completely inconsistent with his age. I promise you. But remember, never ask about my origins. Congratulations to the host for successfully accepting a disciple. Disciple number 002. Name, Guan Shan. Age, 15 years old. First level awakener, supernatural level SSS. Type, ice element. Equipment skills, none. Reward, 100 mall coins, 20,000 yuan. Do you want to extract skills now? Seeing Guan Shan's introduction, Lu Changsheng was shocked and a little unbelievable. This child is only 15 years old, and he has already awakened. If Lu Changsheng remembered correctly, only children who are 16 years old in this world can participate in the awakening ceremony organized by the Demon Slayer Division. Then how did he get this supernatural power? And according to the introduction, his supernatural level is not low. Could he be a descendant of a famous family? It's a pity that the child doesn't want to say it. I'll find a way to test it later. Anyway, as long as they can help the master upgrade, they are all good disciples. The idea came to him, and Lu Changsheng couldn't help but think of the little regret he had before. He rubbed his hands and asked with a little expectation. I can't always call you a child. Since you don't want to tell me your real name, then as a master, I will give you a name. Is it not too much? Whatever. Guan Shan didn't care about these. His goal was only the awakening ceremony 1 year later. Only by shocking everyone there, he could be trained by the Demon Slayer Division. Only the Demon Slayer Division could provide him with resources on the road of cultivation. Dad, Mom, I will definitely avenge you. Definitely. Guan Shan clenched his fist unconsciously, and deep hatred flashed in his eyes. Then from today, you will be called Goshengzi. Let's go, Goshengzi, master will take you home. Guan Shan's mouth twitched, and the emotions that had been brewing for a long time could not be held back. He breathed quickly and forced himself not to curse out loud. Patience. Patience. Just 1 year. In 1 year, I will leave this lunatic. Guanshan, you can do it. Hold it in. Don't stand there, Gao Shengzi, let's go. You still have a senior sister. When you go home, master will introduce her to you. Lu Changsheng's urging came from outside the door. Guanshan's emotions, which had finally calmed down, collapsed again. This is your senior sister. Jiar, this is master's new disciple, your junior brother, named Gao Shengzi. You two should get along well in the future. As soon as he returned to Changsheng Hall, Lu Changsheng called Gu Jia, who was sleepy, and introduced her junior brother. Okay, wet guard. Gu Jia's little hands kept rubbing her eyes, and she saw the appearance of her junior brother in a daze, and fell asleep again. Guanshan was going crazy looking at the little kid in front of him. He would never admit that this little girl who couldn't speak properly was his senior sister. Okay, you sleep in the room next to Jiar, I'll sleep in the room outside. You get your bedding and other things done tonight. Tomorrow the master will take you to buy new ones. Lu Changsheng briefly introduced the situation in Changsheng Hall so that he wouldn't be unable to find the bathroom in the middle of the night. Guan Shan silently took note, and at the same time cursed in his heart. Why do you sleep in such a big room and let your apprentice sleep in such a small room? What kind of master are you? Lu Changsheng didn't have the ability to read minds, and didn't know that his good apprentice had begun to resent him. He happily lay down on the temporary bedding and called out the system. It is detected that the host has won and used draw opportunity. Do you want to draw now? Draw? Congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill, Wrath of Vengeance LV1, Master and Apprentice version. Wrath of Vengeance LV1, the innate skill of the ancient vengeful spirit, which can ignore attacks for a short period of time and increase its own damage. LV1 strength is, ignore the damage of twice the upper limit of the self-bearing, and gain double combat power, which lasts for 5 minutes. After each use, you will fall into a near-death state for 1 hour. Good stuff. Dog system, I am here. Equip Gu Jia with the Wrath of Vengeance, apprentice number 001 Gu Jia. The second skill slot has not been opened yet, so it cannot be equipped. Then when can it be equipped? Insufficient authority, unable to answer. This is troublesome. Go Shingzi looks like he has a deep hatred for his life. If he is equipped with skills, he will go crazy. Isn't it like throwing meat buns at dogs, and there is no return? No matter how far away the apprentice is, the results of cultivation will be shared with the host. That's good. Then equip Go Shing with the Wrath of Vengeance. Let's go through the mountains. As the confirmation key was pressed, Lu Changsheng excitedly opened his panel. Disciple Training System. Host, Lu Changsheng. Age, 20. Mall Coins, 735. Skills, Infinite HP, Xintianyu, Xiantian Gong LV3, Wrath of Vengeance LV2. Wrath of Vengeance LV2 Strength. Ignore the damage of 3 times the upper limit and gain 3 times the combat power, which lasts for 5 minutes. After each use, it will fall into a near-death state for 30 minutes. the duration remains unchanged, the intensity becomes higher, and the duration of the negative effects is also shortened. It seems that the positioning of Wrath of Vengeance is a big move skill, which is a real killer. Once used, it is either you or me. Lu Changsheng has an infinite HP bar, and he can completely ignore the negative effects of the skill. If it really comes to the point of fighting hard, he can even open it twice in a short period of time. Good stuff. Tomorrow, I will catch Go Xingzi and let him practice well. Lu Changsheng fell asleep with a beautiful vision for his apprentice. What he didn't know was that his good disciple was tossing and turning in a strange bed, unable to fall asleep. Guan Shan still felt that his decision was too impulsive. Although the black market was pressing, he couldn't just find a family to stay in, especially when this family was a madman. Anyway, both parties only made a verbal agreement. If I run away now, he can't do anything to me. Guan Shan became more and more annoyed as he thought about it. He simply got up and quietly left his room. Just as he was about to walk out of the Changsheng Hall, a huge snoring sound caught his attention. Guan Shan turned his head and looked at Lu Changsheng's room. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Why should such a person be his master? But it was this last glance that made Guan Shan stunned. Lu Changsheng slept in a room, which was just a simple morning hall. There was nothing beside him except an empty coffin. Fuck. What a madman. Guan Shan couldn't help but curse, but when he turned around and wanted to leave, his hand stopped on the door handle and couldn't press it down. Although the room he and the so-called senior sister shared was not big, it was clean, warm and comfortable, and that madman would rather sleep in the morning hall than give up the comfortable soft bed to him on the first day he met him. Guan Shan was silent for a long time. He finally withdrew his hand and murmured in a low voice. Forget it, it's just a temporary stay. Except for the madman, no one will agree to my conditions. 1 year. 1 year later, I will leave here and take back everything that belongs to the Guan family, take back everything that belongs to me. Chapter 13 Monsters eat people, people kill monsters. It has been like this since ancient times. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the early morning, the first ray of sunlight shone into the Changsheng Hall. Guan Shan woke up leisurely and stared at the dagger in his hand. It seemed that only the cold blade could give him some peace of mind. The aroma of food came from outside the house, causing his stomach to growl. I didn't expect someone to get up earlier than me. Guan Shan opened the door and saw that his senior sister, stuttering, had already prepared meals. Seeing his junior brother wake up, Gu Jia happily waved to him and whispered, "Brother sure who won't wake up so early. Let's eat 7 meals first." Guan Shan sat at the dining table angrily. He didn't recognize Gu Jia as his senior sister, but this stuttering girl was quite good at cooking and the dishes she cooked were decent. That crazy. Master, do you get up so late every day? How can you still do business? Guan Shan picked up a fried dough stick and stuffed it into his mouth. It was crispy and delicious, unexpectedly delicious. Brother Sure who once said, "Don't talk when you eat, and you will love the wooden fish." Gu Jia raised her little hand and made a should gesture to her mouth. You don't talk when you eat, and you don't talk when you sleep. Guan Shan frowned, and he disliked this preaching little girl even more. Guan Shan wolfed down the food in front of him, but he still felt that he was not full. He was too embarrassed to ask his senior sister for more. Between food and dignity, he finally chose dignity. Guan Shan left the dining table bravely and returned to his room angrily, feeling extremely aggrieved. Hold on for 1 more year. Guan Shan murmured softly. He patted his face, sat cross-legged on the bed, and activated the powers in his body. Only in this way could he divert his attention. Unfortunately, an annoying knock on the door interrupted his practice. Just as Guan Shan was about to get angry, he saw Gu Jia standing timidly outside his door and whispered, "Brother Sure, are you not full? I made some more for you, but Sure who said, you can't. I'll have dinner in the room for you, please remember to go there." Guan Shan was stunned. It took him a long time to react, and he came to the dining table in a daze. Looking at a table of freshly prepared meals, his heart seemed to be touched. Ever since his parents died, no one seemed to have cared about whether he had enough to eat or whether he was hungry. Guan Shan's eyes flashed with luster. He blinked quickly, picked up the food on the table, and ate hungrily again. Even though his stomach was full, he didn't waste any food. Lynching Demon Slayer Division Branch, boom boom boom. Enter. An old and majestic voice sounded in the room. Lu Jiangming took a deep breath to calm down his uneasy mood, then opened the door and walked into the old man's office. Xiao Lu, you are finally here. Deacon Sun's iceberg face, which had remained unchanged for thousands of years, showed a rare look of joy. Lu Jiangming felt happy when he saw that the old man was still healthy. Teacher. Sit down. The battle on the front line is very stalemate. I won't be able to stay for a few days. We master and apprentice will miss each other every time we see each other. Lu Jiangming sat down with a solemn expression and respectfully poured tea for the old man. Teacher, I watched the news. Is the situation on the front line really that bad? How is Fengdu City, now? Sun Wenqing picked up the hot tea poured by his apprentice and sipped it slightly, revealing a hint of loss and pain. He had no intention of hiding it in front of his favorite student. Fengdu City is gone. Lu Jiangming's hand pouring tea couldn't help trembling, and the tea spilled, but he didn't even notice it. How could Fengdu City? If Fengdu City fell, wouldn't the first line of defense be completely defeated? Sun Wenqing shook his head, raised the hot teacup, and drank it all in one gulp. Now that the first line of defense has become Dawn City, Fengdu City will soon become a distant name, forgotten by everyone. Lu Jiangming's eyes were dim and dull, and he felt that all the strength in his body had been drained away. No way. I will never forget Fengdu City, nor will the 147 comrades who went to the front line with me at the same time. We fought there and sacrificed there. Even if I am the only one who survives, I will never forget it. Forget. Seeing the student's pain, Sun Wenqing felt extremely sad in his heart. That high-spirited young man at the time, that good student who had already broken through the 4th level before he was 18 years old and was hailed as the new generation leader of the Demon Slayer Division, now can only hide in the rear and survive as a law enforcement team member. Don't think about it. Now that you have retired from the front line, just let go of those things. The work at the rear is equally important. You see, teacher, I still have to travel back and forth at my age. Sometimes I really envy you. Lu Jiangming took a deep breath and didn't want to continue talking about this topic. He knew his teacher well. He had been fighting for his whole life. If there was nothing particularly urgent, he would never come to the city to deal with it personally. Teacher, do you have any other tasks when you come to the city this time? Sun Wenqing put down his teacup and nodded. I came here with the other heaven sect. Baixiangio. That surrender faction that advocates equality between humans and monsters and wants to use civilization to influence the monsters. Lu Jiangming didn't know much about Baixiangio. He only knew that this strange organization always wanted humans and monsters to live in peace. It was a group of silly and naive person. Monsters eat people, and people kill monsters. It has been like this since ancient times. There has never been a third possibility. Well, it is basically certain that the mastermind behind the sea monster infiltration incident is the Tian sect. Not only that, they are also buying up crystal cores and monster pills on a large scale, and even driving up prices. If it weren't for the Demon Slayer Bureau's maintenance, the current crystal core price would at least double. The Tian sect has stepped on the red line this time. The Demon Slayer Bureau has made up its mind to eliminate this hidden danger and can no longer let them grow bigger. Sun Wenqing's voice gradually became colder, and he exuded a vague murderous intent. LV Jiangming just came back from the black market yesterday, and indeed found that the price of crystal cores has risen a lot compared to last month. If that's the case, why don't the superiors give orders, but instead allow them to continue purchasing? If these strategic materials are sent to the demon clan by them, it will cause a disaster. Sun Wenqing poured himself a cup of tea and smiled, because they have money. LV Jiangming was stunned, not quite understanding what the teacher meant. The Demon Slayer division has wanted to eat this piece of fat meat for a long time. This time, they finally found a suitable reason. Of course, they must squeeze them clean and swallow them in one gulp. All the black markets selling crystal cores are under the control of the Demon Slayer division. They really think that if they spend money, the things will belong to them. Sun Wenqing drank the tea in the cup, looked into the distance thoughtfully, and murmured. You know, war is very expensive. Outside the window, dark clouds rolled, and heavy rain was coming. Chapter 14 A Teachable Child. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What the hell kind of weather is this? It was fine just now. It rains heavily when it says it will rain. The weather forecast is too inaccurate. Lu Changsheng crossed his arms and looked helplessly outside the store. The pouring rain fell crackling, stirring up bursts of mist. Go Xingzi, have you learned the skills I just taught you? Guan Shan looked at Lu Changsheng blankly. Just now, that madman insisted on teaching him skills. As an ordinary person, what skills could Lu Changsheng teach him as an awakened person? Considering that he would have to stay for another year, he reluctantly agreed. As a result, after just a few words, he felt that an energy appeared out of thin air in his body, as if he was born with it. Guan Shan felt the energy in disbelief, and an idea came to his mind. Could it be that this lunatic is really a reclusive supermaster? Go Xingzi, come and try the effect. Lu Changsheng stared at his apprentice with a smirk on his face. He wanted to see what the so-called near-death effect was like. Anyway, there are apprentices who serve as guinea pigs. This can be regarded as supervising his apprentice's growth, and he might even be rewarded with mall coins. Young people are already full of curiosity about new things, let alone when it involves power. Guan Shan did not hide it at the moment, silently recalling the feeling of running skills in his heart. A surging energy instantly filled Guan Shan's body. He just felt full of strength from head to toe. He couldn't help but throw out a punch, which actually brought out a burst of punching wind. This is without applying the superpower. Guan Shan stared at his fist in shock, feeling a surge of great joy in his heart. If you use the ability while avenging wrath is running. He clasped his hands together excitedly and mobilized the supernatural powers in his body. The ability that could only form a thin layer of ice in the past could now be condensed into thick ice armor, covering his whole body like a silver battle suit. Sure who, it's a bit cold. The sudden chill made Gu Jia shiver, and he couldn't help but crawl into his master's arms. Lu Changsheng took off his coat, covered Gu Jia, looked at Go Xingzi with a smile, and waited for the side effects to come. Oops, in the excitement, I forgot that I can't use my powers in front of them. Guan Shan hurriedly dispelled his powers, stared at Lu Changsheng warily, and said in a bad tone, remember our agreement, don't pry into my affairs. Well, there are still 3 seconds. Guan Shan frowned slightly, not understanding what Lu Changsheng meant. Just as he was about to ask, his vision went dark and he collapsed to the ground. Gu Jia nervously ran to his junior brother's side and hurriedly felt for his pulse. Sure brother sure seems to be dead. It's okay. I'll wake up in a while. Do whatever you need to do. When the rain stops, I'll take you out to go shopping together. But sure Shitty is out of breath. It's normal. He's just too tired. He'll be fine after a nap. Lu Changsheng waved his hands indifferently and lay down on the folding chair, intending to take another nap. But sure Shitty's heartbeat has stopped beating. It's okay, I'll be there soon. Lu Changsheng jumped up from the folding chair. What did you say? After this apprentice's self-sacrifice experience, Lu Changsheng finally understood what near-death was like. No breathing, no pulse, no heartbeat, even no body temperature, completely indistinguishable from the dead. If Guan Shan hadn't woken up on time an hour later, Lu Changsheng would have dug a hole to bury the body. Ahem, anyway, this is the principle of wrath of revenge. Go Xingzi, please remember that every time you practice, you must make sure you are in a safe place. Otherwise, if you are buried as a corpse one day, you go up where to reason. Lu Changsheng looked at the mound in the backyard with a guilty conscience. He must have not been discovered by Go Xingzi. I understand. Guan Shan was slightly afraid. The feeling of death was too real, but he still said seriously, such a skill must be a secret that is not passed down in your family. Since you are willing to teach it to me, I will accept your kindness. If I can fulfill my long-cherished wish in the future, I will definitely repay your kindness, that I mainly want to have sex for free. Lu Changsheng secretly cursed in his heart, but he still had the temperament of a master on his face, and said calmly, such trivial matters are of no concern. Since you are my disciple, I will not be partial. If Jiar has it, you have it too. You have different talents and different applicable skills, but one thing is the same. Only by practicing diligently can you survive in this world. Remember this. This not, does the little girl have it too? Guan Shan was secretly surprised. With a skill like Rage of Vengeance, just one skill is enough to become a grandmaster. I didn't expect that his cheap master would have other skills. It seems that we have to find a way to build a good relationship and trick out other skills. The master and the disciple each had their own secrets, and they all put on smiles against their will, and the Changsheng Hall suddenly became full of joy. It rained heavily all day. Of course, Lu Changsheng couldn't go out, so he had to accompany Guan Shan at home to watch cartoons and correct Gu Jia's pronunciation from time to time. Guan Shan watched impatiently as the protagonist on TV killed the villain over and over again, and finally couldn't help but speak. Boss Lu, you said these cartoons are helpful to my spiritual practice. I have watched them with you all night. Why don't you feel anything at all? Go Xingzi, I know you are in a hurry, but don't be in a hurry first. Lu Changsheng corrected another Gu Jia's pronunciation error before going back to educate his second apprentice. You are too violent, and the skills taught to you are deadly moves. I watch cartoons with you as a teacher, mainly to sharpen your character. Otherwise, how can I teach you more powerful skills? A more powerful secret skill? Guan Shan's eyes flashed. What is it? That I don't know either. I have to ask the dog system. Ahem, it's a very powerful skill anyway. After you fully master Wrath of Revenge, your teacher will teach it to you. Now, watch the cartoon carefully. You will reach the climax soon. That the villain in the animation was undoubtedly killed, and the protagonist group achieved the final victory. Boring. Who among the people in this world is less worthy of death than those villains? Why doesn't anyone come to defeat them? Why doesn't anyone come and save me? Guan Shan's eyes were full of resentment. If he could, he would rather be defeated on the front line and let the monsters clean this dirty world. I don't want those enemies to step on the bodies of the Guan family and indulge in pleasure and carnival. You still don't understand the essence of this animation. Lu Changsheng shook his head in disappointment. Guan Shan stared at him with an unconvinced expression, wanting to see what nonsense he could come up with. There are no villains or decent people in this world. Remember, you loser. The one who survives is the protagonist. Lu Changsheng stared at his second disciple calmly, hoping that he could change his violent temper. You have to be stubborn when you should. This is the way to survive. Kill everyone and the one who survives is the protagonist. This madman is encouraging me. No matter how difficult the situation is, I can't give up. Relying on the demon clan is not my skill. Killing all the enemies on my own can be considered as completing the task. Guan Shan lowered his head and pondered for a long time, then he gradually understood and spoke quietly. Boss Lu, I've learned a lesson. Lu Changsheng nodded with satisfaction. Children can be taught. Chapter 15. All expenses today will be paid by the master. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Winter is coming in Lincheng, and the temperature is getting lower day by day. The cold wind blows away the warm autumn sun, the trees on both sides of the street are bare, and the few yellow leaves on the branches are swaying in the wind. Outside Changsheng Hall, a strange man is staring at the black and white sign on the door. The man is about 30 years old, thin and tall, with broad and straight shoulders. His hair is neatly combed behind his head, revealing a smooth forehead. Are you sure that kid is here in Changsheng Hall? The man lowered his voice, his tone was low and cold. Gue Zhai will never give false information after receiving your money. Although the voice on the other end of the phone is sweet, it implies unquestionable tyranny. Beep beep. The man hung up the phone, thinking constantly in his heart, this month he has received 19 crystal cores for the divine cult, and only one is left to complete the task. Unfortunately, the black market has been out of stock recently, and the only one listed is only open for trading. He naturally looked for Guanshan, but was discouraged by the other party's conditions. When he went to the black market again yesterday to try his luck, he found that Guanshan's trading had been removed, so he showed up here today, in the black market. He didn't dare to rob openly, but outside the black market, a trace of viciousness flashed in the man's eyes. As long as he could complete the mission of the divine religion, killing a few people was nothing. Suddenly, the man felt his shoulders sink, and a handsome young man put his shoulder on his shoulder without knowing when. The man was shocked. He didn't notice the other party's existence at all. If the other party wanted to kill him, he would be dead now. I've been watching you for a long time. You have been staring at my Changsheng Hall. What's the matter? Lu Changsheng turned his head to look at the man. With a puzzled look on his face, the man swallowed his saliva subconsciously, thinking frantically about countermeasures. This person is definitely a master. With his 4th level strength, he can't sense the opponent's level. This person's strength is at least above the 6th level. Fighting head-on will only lead to death, and you must think of a reasonable explanation. I know. Are you embarrassed? Lu Changsheng slapped his forehead and put on a warm smile and said, "It's nothing, people will die anyway. Come on, come in and I'll introduce you to it." We are doing an event now. The man let Lu Changsheng push him into the store, not daring to resist at all. His back was soaked with cold sweat and his heart was pounding. "Look, sir, this is our new set meal, called Happy Delivery. There will be a popular artist performing a talk show in front of the morning hall. If the performance is good, you can burn paper money to reward. I will also organize a full scene interaction for you. It will definitely be more lively when you die than when you are alive." Lu Changsheng took out an old flyer and promoted it enthusiastically. The man looked at the flyer. The word, "Pure Land of Bliss," on it was crossed out and changed to, "Happy Delivery." It was obviously an excuse. This person, is he going to kill me again? Fuck. I really shouldn't have come here. Lord God's messenger, Su Wang has to leave first today. Su Wang's inner drama was interrupted by a shaking before it was over. Customer, what's wrong with you? Are you dissatisfied? Lu Changsheng looked at Su Wang expectantly. He hasn't had any income for a long time. With the arrival of winter, there are fewer and fewer white blood donation vehicles. Now there are 2 growing children at home, and the expenses are much higher. If he doesn't open an order, he will really have to starve. No, I'm very satisfied. Su Wang didn't dare to say no, and nodded frantically. That's good. I don't know if you are a family member or... Lu Changsheng paused for a moment, staring at Su Wang. Do you want to use it yourself? Su Wang's pupils suddenly contracted, and even his heartbeat stopped for a beat. His chest rose and fell violently, cold sweat dripped from his forehead, and he begged for mercy tremblingly. Boss, I will never come again. Can you, give me a chance? Lu Changsheng's face fell suddenly. Forget it, it's all in vain. He still said, Customer, if you are not satisfied, we have many other packages. Do you want to know? Let me choose a way to die. Su Wang's face turned pale. He didn't think that a 6th-level awakener would open a funeral home in a small lynching. This must be his disguise. This person is either a high-level member of the Demon Slayer division, or one of those old monsters who hide their identities. If he is targeted by him, there is only one way to die. Forget it, I want, happy delivery. Please, boss, act quickly. I will never resist. Su Wang closed his eyes in despair, waiting for the arrival of the butcher's knife. Lu Changsheng's hands were indeed fast. In just a moment, he had already opened the bill and even printed out the invoice. Do you want to scan the code or pay in cash? Looking at the invoice and QR code handed over by Lu Changsheng, Su Wang was stunned for a moment. You won't kill me? Lu Changsheng stared at the customer with some doubts, frowned slightly and said, I only bury, not kill. If you have any needs in this regard, you can try to solve it yourself. It won't hurt, just a shiver. Su Wang scanned the code with trembling hands, took the invoice and receipt, and left Changsheng Hall in a daze. He stared blankly at the receipt in his hand. Farewell is not the end, but another beginning. We accompany you through this journey. Fuck. He really does funeral work. And there is nothing in the set meal. How dare he charge me 19,800? Lu Changsheng didn't know that his guest was wailing in pain, but just felt that today was a good day. Gu Jia had completed her practice today, and saw Lu Changsheng giggling. She touched the side of her master and said, "Sure Hu, the white bones of the family are finished. I will buy some more." Eat ribs again? Lu Changsheng opened today and spoke loudly. How about some seafood today? I haven't eaten seafood for a long time. Jar, you should also buy some of your favorites to change the taste. Sure Hu likes the white bones, and I like it too. Gu Jia smiled sweetly. Lu Changsheng touched his apprentice's head with satisfaction. He now understood why a daughter is a father's sweetheart. The second apprentice was not sensible at all. He practiced in his room every day and didn't know how to care about his master. Go Shengzi. Are you alive? Lu Changsheng shouted towards the bedroom. Your sister is going to buy groceries. You should go with her. Don't stay in there to practice every day. I don't know when you will die. Guan Shan walked out of the bedroom with a face full of resentment, and dark circles appeared under his eyes, as if he hadn't slept for a few days. Rage of revenge is good, but it is too life-consuming to practice. He really couldn't stand it. He was afraid that he would really die one day. Lu Changsheng grabbed Go Shengzi, took out a few hundred-yuan bills from the urn, stuffed them into his hand, and said generously, "Go out and walk around, don't stay in the store every day. It's easy to get into trouble. All the consumption today will be paid by master." Guan Shan was born in a wealthy family after all. How could he be interested in these few hundred yuan? He took the bills speechlessly and led his sister away from Changsheng Hall. Chapter 16 Ghost House. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Guan Shan led Gu Jia to the vegetable market. He felt dizzy and couldn't tell whether he was dead or alive. The side effects of cultivation were too great, but the feeling of power surge was too tempting. He kept reincarnating between life and death, and he was still enjoying it. Gu Jia hummed a little tune all the way, and was in a good mood. Google search TWKN. Jar, have you always talked like this? Guan Shan was influenced by his senior sister, and his mood gradually improved. You leftover dog, you have to call me sister sure, not Jar. Gu Jia pouted, looking dissatisfied. Since that breakfast, Guan Shan no longer hated this little girl, but he couldn't bring himself to call her senior sister, so he had to change the subject. I see that your speech logic is very clear. Why is your pronunciation so strange, as if you just learned to speak? Because I used to be mute. Gu Jia is no longer afraid, and said naturally, I was abducted by human traffickers when I was 9 years old, and then I was drugged and mute. It was the nurse who saved me and allowed me to speak again. Guan Shan's expression turned cold, and a cold murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Where are those human traffickers? Where are they now? The nurse sent them away. Gu Jia was still humming a little song, as if these things were no longer worth mentioning to her. Sent away? Just like that? Guan Shan gritted his teeth. If it were him, he would definitely not let those beasts go so easily. It would be dead lying on the board, but the nurse said that I was a girl and couldn't say such vulgar words, so I could only say sent away. Guan Shan was stunned. Is Boss Lu willing to kill for his apprentice? Gao Sheng's he, look, the little white car in front is the place that Shirhu loves to go the most. Gu Jia pointed to the blood donation car not far ahead and shared it happily with her junior brother. Guan Shan was silent. No wonder, Changsheng has no business at all. Can Boss Lu still support 2 apprentices? He has always relied on selling blood to support his family. Lu Changsheng didn't know that his image in the heart of his second apprentice had become inexplicably taller because of Gu Jia. Gao Sheng's he, don't be in a daze, come here quickly, there are crabs today. Gu Jia had walked in front of Guan Shan without knowing when, and was waving her little hand desperately at him. Here I come. Guan Shan shook his head, calmed his thoughts, and followed his little sister in 2 steps. The sun was setting and the night was getting darker. The sign of the Wild Dog Bar lit up the neon again. In the box, Su Wang lowered his head nervously and said respectfully, "I greet the Lord God's envoy." A soft female voice came, sweet but not greasy. "Have you collected all the crystal cores for this month?" The woman said, raising the red wine glass in front of her and taking a sip. Her delicate features were slightly flushed, making her look even more charming. The God's envoy was wearing a black dress, revealing her snow-white and delicate skin. Her exquisite curves trembled slightly with every frown and smile, which was fascinating. There was a peerless beauty in front of him, but Su Wang didn't dare to look up. He wiped the sweat from his forehead nervously, took a deep breath, and spoke through gritted teeth. "I have collected 19 crystal cores this month. I should have received the last one today, but I met a mysterious master. The holder of the last crystal core is protected by that master, and I can't take it away by force." Su Wang told the God's envoy what happened, and didn't dare to look at her the whole time, even if the God's envoy was just a girl under 20 years old. "You said you couldn't sense that person's breath at all. You didn't even notice him approaching?" "Yes, I bought intelligence about him from Guizhai. Except for knowing his name is Lu Changsheng, I don't have any other information. It's like he appeared out of thin air 3 years ago." Su Wang nodded and added. After hearing Su Wang's words, the God's envoy frowned slightly. "He can completely avoid your close investigation. This Lu Changsheng is probably more than the 6th level. Guizhai's information is very credible. Since they can't find out the details of the other party, you don't have to think about it anymore." The woman paused slightly, her face slightly solemn. "The Demon Slayer division has been unusually quiet recently. I'm afraid the actions of the God cult have attracted the attention of the other party. During this period, you should stop any actions and send the crystal core to the warehouse. I will arrange someone to escort you out of Linqing." "Yes." Su Wang nodded seriously. "When the crystal core is transported out of Linqing, I will promote you to a divine servant. My master will not forget your contribution." Su Wang was ecstatic, his old face flushed red. "Thank you, divine messenger." The woman did not continue to speak, gently shook the red wine in her hand, and drank it all. Across a box, Lu Changsheng was looking at the menu of the bar depressedly. He did not realize that he had been identified as a super master by the Bietian sect, the kind that must not be provoked. "I said, Lao Lu, didn't you say that crystal cores are hard to buy, and the supply of demon pills is still sufficient? Why is there no demon pill after that day?" Lu Changsheng looked at Lu Jiangming beside him with a bitter face. Since he found his second apprentice in the black market, Lu Changsheng would pull Lu Jiangming to drink a few glasses whenever he was free, and by the way, see if there are any cheap crystal cores to pick up. As a result, for several consecutive days, nothing was found. "Ahem, Boss Lu, the recent situation is a bit special. There will be no crystal core supply in the short term. And if there is nothing important these days, you'd better not go out. After all, there are 2 little apprentices at home who need to be taken care of." Why the crystal core demon pill is so tense, Lu Jiangming naturally knows it well. He can't tell Lu Changsheng directly that it is the work of the Demon Slayer division. After all, the higher-ups have issued a secret order, and everything related to the other heaven sect is top secret. "Is your law enforcement team taking any action?" Lu Changsheng's eyes lit up. Action means casualties, and casualties mean business. In Lu Changsheng's eyes, Lu Jiangming suddenly became sparkling, like an old hen that lays golden eggs. Lu Jiangming's scalp was numb when he was looked at, and he quickly changed the subject. "Boss Lu, in fact, in addition to the black market, there is another place to get crystal cores, but it will be more troublesome." "I'm not afraid of trouble, as long as it doesn't cost money." Lu Changsheng really took the bait. "Boss Lu, have you heard of Guizhai?" Lu Changsheng shook his head blankly. Guizhai is a very mysterious organization. They do all kinds of business, but the most famous one is the intelligence business. Lu Jiangming took a sip of beer to moisten his throat, and said with satisfaction, "Ah," and continued. "Some valuable intelligence can be exchanged for a large number of crystal cores, and you can also get a share of each subsequent business. Many awakened people rely on Gui Zhai's salary to barely afford the cultivation resources. Looking at Lu Changsheng's expectant expression, Lu Jiangming smiled mysteriously, snatched his phone, tapped it a few times, and returned it to Lu Changsheng. Gui Zhai know all. Lu Changsheng looked at the strange app on his phone, and was confused. Chapter 17 Free Information. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gui Zhai Beishitang has 4 main sections, namely, selling intelligence, buying intelligence, posting tasks, and reward list. LV Jiangming patiently introduced the functions of the app. The first 2 are easy to understand, but posting tasks requires real name authentication. Gui Zhai will only post tasks for others to take after proving that you have the ability to pay. Number 1 on the reward list, Chief of the Demon Slayer Division, Military Marquis Lin Yuan. Strength, peak of the 8th level, suspected to be the 9th level. Task reward, 20 perfect 8th level crystal cores, or 20 billion in cash. Lu Changsheng looked at the bounty list and almost spit out a mouthful of beer. Is this Gui Zhai so arrogant? They openly offer a bounty for the boss of your Demon Slayer division. You don't care. LV Jiangming put down the beer, wiped the foam from his mouth, and smiled. The top 10 on the bounty list are more symbolic. No one will really take it. You can think of it as a ranking in the martial arts world. Before, someone spent a lot of money to offer a bounty for himself in order to become famous, and the ranking was pushed to 5th place. As a result, less than 24 hours after the task was issued, the young man died in his home, and even his body was cut into several pieces. I heard that there were more than a dozen people who came to Gui Zhai to claim the bounty, and I don't know what the final prize will be. Who did you give the reward to? Lu Changsheng frowned slightly, even more puzzled. Didn't you say that you can't accept killing missions in the black market? Why can Gui Zhai? When did the Demon Slayer division become so easy to talk to? There's no way. Gui Zhai's biggest customer is the Demon Slayer division. Lu Jiangming sighed helplessly, and continued to popularize science. The Demon Slayer division spends a lot of money every year to buy intelligence on the Demon Clan. Only Gui Zhai can get this kind of information. Even the Demon Slayer division's own intelligence department, Shadow Moon Pavilion, can't do it. Under no choice, we can only turn a blind eye and let them exist. Lu Changsheng nodded thoughtfully. He was not a drinker. Seeing that the black market didn't have what he wanted, he drank a few glasses with Lu Jiangming and then got up and left. The night was hazy and dotted with stars. Lu Changsheng lay on the bed and silently turned on the system. The details of the mall coins are as follows. Gujia Xiantian Gong experience increased by 2% through hard practice, and he obtained 40 mall coins. With a total of 140 mall coins. Gujia Xiantian Gong LV2 practice progress is 7%. Guan Shan's revenge anger. Experience increased by 9% through hard practice, and he obtained 90 mall coins, with a total of 470 mall coins. Guan Shan's revenge anger LV1 practice progress is 47%. Total mall coins, 1325. Without the crystal core, Jia's practice speed is really not good. Go Xingzi is almost halfway through, but she is less than 10%. Lu Changsheng frowned slightly. The problem of the crystal core must be solved, otherwise the apprentice's practice speed will only get slower and slower, and his income will get less and less. It seriously affected his efficiency of freeloading. If you want the horse to run fast, you still have to feed the horse first. Lu Changsheng opened the Guizhai Beishitang with a try-it mentality, and was immediately attracted by the content, because in addition to the trading section, there is a lot of free information for people to check in Beishitang. From the frontline war to the celebrity gossip, everything is available. The most important thing is that the app also explains in detail the power system of the awakened, which is exactly Lu Changsheng's knowledge blind spot. He can't help but be fascinated. The awakened in this world are divided into 9 levels, and each level will be greatly improved. Levels 1 to 3 are called supernormal, which means beyond mortals. Levels 4 to 6 are called walkers, which means that the world is big and can go anywhere. This part of people is the backbone of the awakened world, and most of them will be recruited by the Demon Slayer division and serve in front of the battle. Levels 7 to 9 are called Venerables. All Venerables are famous big figures who can destroy the world with a wave of their hands and feet and have the ability to change the world pattern. As for the 10th level, no one has ever reached it. That legendary level is called Demigod. If Go Xingzi reaches the 10th level in the future, what title should he be given? Lu Changsheng looked at the screen, marveling at it while imagining his apprentice's future achievements. Let's call him Dog Saint. Go Xingzi will definitely like it. Lu Changsheng was very satisfied with the name he just came up with, and silently gave himself a thumbs up in his heart. Continue to get the free information from Guizhai for free. All awakened people can know the level of the target by looking at the aura, unless the target's level is 2 levels higher than their own and restrains their own aura. Lu Changsheng shook his head with some regret. He is not an awakened person. Although the enemy will not be able to see his level, he cannot see through the enemy. It seems that I have to be careful in the future. Don't run into a big guy and think that others are chickens. Lu Changsheng thought to himself. Continue to read for a while. Most of the remaining information is frontline battle reports and celebrity gossip, which Lu Changsheng is not interested in. Let's see if there is a chance to pick up leaks on the bounty list. Mission target, Lynching Bank Vault. Requirements, awakened above level 4, good at blasting, no criminal record. Rewards, you get points for every point you grab, everyone gets a share, no cheating. Comment from the Demon Slayer public account, Zhuang Shiqi, if you want to go back to the prison, just tell me, I can send a car to pick you up. Comment from Zhuang Deshuai, brother, I'm kidding, delete the task immediately, and come to me for tea when you're free. Moi, Lu Changsheng, task target, Chai Beijiang, owner of Hongyun Hotpot Restaurant. Number 17 Beidar Road. Requirements, awakener of any level. Reward, 10 free coupons for Hongha Hotpot Restaurant. Number 16 Beidar Road. Comment from Hongyun Hotpot Restaurant, damn Hihu, you hired someone to mess with me in normal business competition. No one wants your broken hotpot restaurant even if you give it away for free. Comment from Hongha Hotpot Restaurant, you control me. Come to fight me if you don't agree. Comment from Hongyun Hotpot Restaurant, let's fight, but you have to wait until I close. I'm not like you. There are more rats than customers all day long. Lu Changsheng was speechless as he watched the dozens of pages of online verbal battles between the two hotpot restaurants. Why did the task of assassinating the head of the Demon Slayer division and the task of fighting at the hotpot restaurant appear in the same place at the same time? The status of the ghost house know-it-all in his heart suddenly fell to the bottom. Just as he was about to close the program and go to sleep, a bounty caught his attention. Task, interview, requirements, awakener above level 4, and good at hiding, reward, level 4 crystal core. Just because the task publisher closed the comments, Lu Changsheng felt that the other party was obviously more reliable. And the reward was the crystal core he needed most. Xintianyu should be considered the top level hiding method. As for awakeners above level 4, try to fool them. Lu Changsheng thought to himself and tapped his fingers, accepted the task. Chapter 18 This order is a good job. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Changsheng Hall. Lu Changsheng got up early for a rare occasion and made a hearty breakfast for his apprentices. Boss Lu, are you going out to do something today? Guan Shan asked curiously after taking a look at Lu Changsheng's outfit. Lu Changsheng did not wear his work clothes that never changed, but changed into a black shirt and black pants. Even his coat was black. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network. That he looked like he was going out to do something. Well, I'm going out for a while, and I'll be back in the evening normally, and I'll be home tomorrow at the latest. Winter is coming soon. If there's no business, you can close the store early. You all know where the money is, go get it yourself if you need it. Gu Jia nodded obediently. By the way, Go Xingzi, you'd better not practice your skills secretly while I'm not at home. If something happens, you can't do anything as a dead person. Take a good rest for a day. Practice should also be a combination of work and rest. If you have time, watch cartoons with Jiar and teach her pronunciation. Guan Shan glanced at his little sister, said nothing, and nodded silently. Lu Changsheng grabbed his coat and left Changsheng Hall. the cold wind outside the store was bleak and a little deserted, lynching suburb. In an unfinished building, 3 figures stood silently, a pretty girl with twin ponytails, a muscular man in a white vest. There was also a middle-aged man in a well-tailored suit and gold-rimmed glasses. The cold wind poured in through the holes in the wall, rolling up the hems of everyone's clothes. Achoo! The girl with twin ponytails rubbed her nose and snorted with a little dissatisfaction. What kind of place did the task initiator choose? Don't you know how many degrees it is today? And he found such a place with leaks on all sides. Girl, you just lack exercise. Let your brother help you exercise and ensure that you are not affected by the cold or heat. The bald strong man was only wearing a thin vest, and the outline of his muscles was faintly visible under the vest. He really had the capital to say this. The girl snorted lightly and ignored him. The middle-aged man pushed his glasses on the bridge of his nose, looked down at his Rolex watch, and said lightly, "The task initiator is already 5 minutes late. I hate working with people who are not punctual the most." After that, the middle-aged man walked out of the unfinished building without looking back. A cold female voice interrupted his steps. "I've been here a long time ago." A beautiful figure floated down from the 3rd floor of the unfinished building lightly. The woman was wearing a flowing long skirt, the hem of which swayed gently with her movements, and her long silky hair swayed gently in the air, like a fairy descending to the mortal world. She landed steadily on the ground, her feet lightly touching the ground without making any sound. The middle-aged man frowned slightly. "Are you the initiator of the mission?" The woman raised her head slightly, and no emotion could be seen on her delicate features. "My mission requires awakeners above the 4th level, and they must be good at hiding. I have observed you for a while, and I don't see that you have this ability." The woman's voice was crisp and sweet, but her tone was quite cold, and she seemed dissatisfied with the 3 people. "According to the rules of Guizhai, I have the right to ask you to show your abilities before deciding whether to cooperate." Hearing this, the 3 people all showed dissatisfaction. "This woman is too arrogant." The bald man in a vest had the most irritable temper. Listening to the woman's sarcasm, he unhappily used all his abilities. He quickly squatted down and supported himself on the ground with both hands. The man's mountain-like body melted quickly like quicksand, and merged into the ground in just a moment. When he appeared again, he had already stepped over a distance of 100 meters. Without any movement or sound, the girl with twin ponytails snorted lightly, and jumped up with her legs. She turned her body in the air, and when she fell again, she had turned into a butterfly with strange patterns. After circling and flying in the unfinished building for 2 circles, she showed her true form again and landed steadily. He looked at the woman in the long skirt with a provocative look. The man in the suit pushed his glasses on the bridge of his nose and closed his eyes. Everyone felt that their eyes went black and they all fell into darkness. "Fuck. I know you are so powerful, turn on the lights quickly, I have claustrophobia." The voice of the strong man in the vest was slightly trembling. The girl with twin ponytails glanced at him and laughed meanly. "I didn't expect that you, a tall and strong man, would be afraid of the dark." The strong man in the vest blushed when he was confronted, and was about to explode when he was interrupted by the man in the suit. "According to the rules, we have already demonstrated our abilities, and you have to tell us the specific mission objectives and rewards. I want to remind you that if 3 people share a crystal core, I don't like it. Point 1 fusion system, 1 transformation system, and 1 auxiliary system." The long-skirted woman glanced at the 3 people indifferently, and said faintly, "There is another person who signed up. Since he didn't come, each of you can get at least 5 crystal cores for this mission." The eyes of the 3 people all lit up. It is rare to get a crystal core as a reward for an ordinary mission, but this time there are 5, and 5 for each person. "This order is a good job." Everyone looked at each other, all eager to try. At this moment, an abrupt voice interrupted everyone's thoughts. "Ahem, well, this is my first time accepting a mission. I don't know if there is a supernatural power demonstration session. Is it too late to perform now?" A young man dressed in black appeared out of nowhere and asked with a little embarrassment. The 4 people present were all shocked. No one, including the woman in the long skirt, noticed Lu Changsheng's existence. The woman in the long skirt stared at Lu Changsheng in disbelief with her beautiful eyes and asked unnaturally, did you just come? No, I came a long time ago. You came about half an hour after I came, then the macho man, and then the girl with twin ponytails. She even walked around twice outside to make sure there was no ambush before coming in. She was quite cautious. The last one to come in was the guy in the suit. He was very punctual and arrived on time. Lu Changsheng gently stroked his chin, recalling everything that had just happened. The woman in the long skirt looked at Lu Changsheng in disbelief. With her perception, a living person had been under her nose for a long time without her noticing. If he wanted to kill her, the woman in the long skirt's heart was pounding, and she felt a little scared. You are just bragging. All awakened people can see the breath. It takes a lot of supernatural powers to hide their own breath. It is impossible to last so long. You just came here to show off. I have seen many people like you. The man in the suit glanced at Lu Changsheng with disdain, and said impatiently, let's continue talking about the task. I haven't seen the reward of 5 crystal cores for a long time. If you are talking nonsense, don't blame me for turning my face against you. The woman in the long skirt listened to the man in the suit and looked at Lu Changsheng thoughtfully. Although she was still a little uneasy, she thought that the task was issued through Guizhai, and the mysterious guy should not dare to attack her, so she felt a little relieved. She took a deep breath, calmed down, and said quietly, our target is a warehouse with more than 34th level crystal cores stored in it. The highest combat power of the guard force is only 4th level. After the task is completed, I will take half of it, and the rest can be divided equally among those who participated in the operation. I will send you the agreement on Guizhai Beishitang. After signing, I will tell you the specific details of the task. If anyone is not interested, you can leave now. 0.30 crystal cores, 4th level guards. Everyone's eyes flashed with greed, and they clicked the confirmation button on their mobile phones without any hesitation. Only Lu Changsheng looked at the agreement on his mobile phone thoughtfully, and read every word of the agreement carefully before clicking the button of agreement. Chapter 19. Guess what level I am? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The long skirt woman saw that the 4 people had not left, and after confirming that the agreement had been signed, she raised her beautiful eyes and said coldly, Taiwan Novel Network. Before talking about the mission, let's introduce ourselves first, so that we don't have to know who is who when we start fighting. The vest-wearing muscular man crossed his hands in front of him, his voice was like a bell, full of energy. My name is Miao Shirlei, a 4th level walker, a fusion-type psychic. If the target is a warehouse, I can sneak in and dissolve the door, or open a hole in the wall to facilitate the team to enter. The girl with twin ponytails took out a lollipop from somewhere, her cheeks bulging, like a hamster stealing food. My name is Lin Xiaoxiao, a 4th level walker, a transformation-type psychic. I can transform into any animal within my cognition. The larger the size, the shorter the duration. If it is a butterfly, it can last about half an hour. Some people, who have never seen the world, think that concealed superpowers cannot be used for a long time. What a bumpkin. Lin Xiaoxiao glanced at the man in the suit and emphasized the duration of the superpower. She didn't think Lu Changsheng was pretending. After all, he accurately described his actions, but the man in the suit made her inexplicably disgusted. Since the gathering, the man in the suit felt Lin Xiaoxiao's gaze and naturally understood her implication. He was secretly angry in his heart. If it weren't for the fact that the mission reward was too much and it was not suitable to turn against each other now, he would definitely let this ignorant little girl taste the taste of losing her 5 senses. The man in the suit snorted, stared at Lin Xiaoxiao and said unhappily, my name is Han Jinping, a 4th level walker, an auxiliary psychic, who can deprive others of their 5 senses within a range of 100 meters. The more senses deprived, the shorter the duration. If it's just the eyesight, it can last until I cut off the man's head. Uncle, you don't seem to be convinced. How about we practice first? See how fast you can deprive me of my 5 senses, or how fast I can twist off your head. Lin Xiaoxiao looked like a shrew scolding on the street, which formed a strong contrast with her beautiful girl appearance. The woman in the long skirt coughed lightly, interrupting the quarrel between the two. If you fight before taking action, what's the point? If time is not urgent, she is unwilling to cooperate with strangers, but unfortunately, time waits for no one. My name is Hongye, a 4th-level walker, a strengthening psychic. Hongye didn't say the details of her ability. After all, she was the initiator of the task, and even if her ability had nothing to do with concealment and infiltration, everyone thought it was normal. If they can do it themselves, why would they offer a bounty? After a round of self-introductions, everyone turned their eyes to the silent Lu Changsheng, waiting for him to introduce himself. Lu Changsheng touched the back of his head and said with a guilty conscience, "My name is Lu Changsheng, an invisibility-type psychic. As for my level, guess." "Still pretending. If you are not even at the 4th level, I advise you to get out of here." Han Jinping was stunned when he was halfway through his words. He secretly swallowed his saliva and looked at the rest of his companions in disbelief, with a face full of panic. There is no secret about the level of awakened people, but using the qi to look at a stranger is usually considered a provocative act. If they are at the same level, forget it. A strong person at a higher level can easily feel the prying eyes, so the awakened people have basically reached a consensus that unless they are sure to fight, they should not use the qi to look at others easily. "What's wrong, uncle? Weren't you fierce just now? Could this guy be a 5th-level boss? Look at your cowardly look." Lin Xiaoxiao teased. I can't see." Han Jinping's breathing has become rapid. He knows very well how powerful the 6th-level awakener is. Just now he looked down on Lu Changsheng. If this boss has a bad temper, killing him after the mission is over is just a matter of convenience. Can't you see the qi? You come out to take the mission like this. I feel ashamed to team up with you. Lin Xiaoxiao will not miss any opportunity to target the man in the suit. She was about to continue teasing a few words when she heard Miao Shirley's slightly trembling voice. "I can't see it either. Senior, is the mission of the 4th-level crystal core worth your personal trip?" Miao Shirley's tone was respectful and a little fearful. Lin Xiaoxiao and Hongye both looked at Lu Changsheng suspiciously, using their supernatural powers to check the other party's level. The result is, the 4 of them all stared at Lu Changsheng with eyes wide open, staring at him with a look of as if they had seen a ghost. This made Lu Changsheng feel a little uncomfortable. A 6th-order walker. The strongest combat power below the Venerable, who has mastered the ability to fly, is a human bomber. It is completely different from a 4th-order walker. If Lu Changsheng wanted to, he could kill the other 4 in the blink of an eye. Fine beads of sweat oozed from Hongye's delicate forehead. She asked a little stiffly, "Senior, did you click the wrong task? I can apply for the cancellation of the agreement for you, and I will pay the penalty for breach of contract." Seeing that the duck in his hand was about to fly away, Lu Changsheng suddenly became anxious. How can this be? People should have a spirit of contract. Although Lu Changsheng didn't understand why these people's attitudes suddenly changed, he understood one thing, that these people did not doubt his identity. In this case, how could he miss such a good opportunity to make money? "I'm not like some people who regret dying. How can they say they don't want to die? Since I signed the agreement, I have to complete the task. Don't worry, hurry up and talk about things. I can't be out for too long." Hearing this, everyone was shocked and subconsciously stayed away from Lu Changsheng. This senior seems to have a strong desire to kill, but from what he said, he should be a big boss of a certain force, sneaking out to make some extra money. No wonder he would be interested in the task of a mere 4th-level crystal core. He probably doesn't have time to slowly choose, so he just takes whatever is available. Hongye thought to herself. She took a deep breath, calmed down her emotions, and spoke slowly. "Since the senior is willing to help, this order will definitely be easy to get. Next, I will explain the details of the task to everyone. Our mission target is in a chemical plant on Bailin Road. I have accurate information. There are more than 200 crystal cores stored in that factory." Everyone's heart skipped a beat when they heard this astonishing number. "Didn't you say about 30? Han Jinping's breathing became rapid. His inner greed finally overcame his fear of Lu Changsheng, and he asked anxiously. "Because there are 3 5th-level walkers and 1 6th-level walker in charge of guarding the crystal cores, we can't eat this plate of meat, so we can only drink some soup." Hongye glanced at Lu Changsheng and continued when she saw that he didn't show any abnormality. Among the 200 crystal cores, 30 are 4th level crystal cores, and the highest strength of the guards is only 4th level. That's our goal tonight. Lu Changsheng was not blinded by the huge benefits. He frowned slightly and said faintly, I'm afraid it won't end so well to offend a force with 200 crystal cores. That everyone was stunned, and they all stared at Hongye thoughtfully and hesitated. The corners of Hongye's mouth curled up slightly. Senior must have guessed it long ago, our goal tonight, that I know shit. Lu Changsheng looked at Hongye in confusion, but was afraid of revealing his flaws, so he could only nod his head. Our target is the gathering point of the Bietian cult in Linqing. If it were any other day, I wouldn't want to provoke this group of lunatics, but... Hongye looked at Lu Changsheng and smiled, the Demon Slayer Division has decided to eradicate this evil cult. When? Tonight. Chapter 20 The Intelligence is Wrong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Balin Road Chemical Plant, the night was as dark as ink, dyeing the sky and the earth a deep black, only the occasional twinkling stars in the distance and the faint lights in the chemical plant brought a faint light to this darkness. A group of people lurked quietly in the shadows outside the chemical plant, even breathing deliberately softly. Brother Lu, didn't I tell you? You don't have to take part in this operation. If those crazy cult guys really want to fight, they won't do it for their lives. A young man quietly squeezed through the crowd and came to Lu Jiangming's side, lowering his voice. What's wrong with Xiaoqinzi? Now that I've become the captain, I don't like you, Brother Lu. Do you think I'm holding you back? Lu Jiangming chuckled softly. Chen Yuxiang frowned slightly and replied with a hint of anxiety, Brother Lu, what are you talking about? Without you taking me with me, how could I be where I am today? But tonight's actions are really dangerous, and your powers are. It's not very convenient. If something happens, how can I explain it to my brothers? Xiaoqinzi, although my powers have been disabled, my eyesight has not deteriorated. Although I am weak in killing the enemy, I still have no problem in protecting myself. You are now the captain of the law enforcement team. Don't always focus on a certain subordinate, but focus on the overall situation. Concentrate on your command. If these cultists are allowed to transport the crystal core, many people will die. Chen Yuxiang looked deeply at Lu Jiangming, but in the end he couldn't say the words in his throat. He looked down at his watch 11:59, watching the hands beating minute by second. Chen Yuxiang's heart became nervous. This minute of silence seems longer than a year. Finally, the pointer jumped to 12 o'clock. A huge explosion sounded in the calm night sky. The peace in Linqing was torn apart. Action. Following Chen Yuxiang's order, the law enforcement team members lurking in the shadows rushed out and quickly attacked the chemical plant. Acting with them, there are 5 sneaky figures. Remember that our action tonight is mainly to seize the crystal core. If you can, try not to do it. Hong Yi seemed to have thought of something and added. Senior, I'm not doubting your strength, but after all, we are taking food from the Demon Slayer Division's hands. If it is exposed, I am afraid that none of those crystal nuclei can be retained. Lu Changsheng showed off his master's demeanor and said nothing, just nodded slightly. When are we going up? The loud noise just now should have lured the guards to the main entrance. Isn't it better to do it now? Han Jinping was impatient, so it was a bit difficult to ask him to wait patiently. Don't be anxious, wait for another round of explosions, and then you can take action. Hongye stared at the chemical plant quietly. Even though there was the coveted crystal core just 100 meters away, she didn't feel impatient at all. Where did the second round of explosions come from? Didn't you see that the law enforcement team has already entered the factory? Could it be that they even... Before Han Jinping could finish his words, the loud noise soaring into the sky came again, even more violent than the first explosion. Everyone could feel the ground shaking slightly. Superior. Remember, we only have 10 minutes. Take the crystal core and retreat immediately. Don't be reluctant to fight. Ignoring the stunned Han Jinping, Hongye jumped up lightly and rushed hundreds of meters in the blink of an eye. Seeing that everyone had rushed out, Han Jinping also hurriedly activated his powers and ran away. For a fourth-level traveler, a distance of several hundred meters can be traversed in the blink of an eye. Hongye seemed to be particularly familiar with the factory, leading everyone to dodge left and right, perfectly avoiding all the surveillance probes. Everyone stopped in front of a white wall. Miao Shirlei, open the wall, Xiao Xiao. After the door is opened, you become the smallest animal and go into search. If there is a guard who has not left, alert him immediately. Han Jinping, be ready to block the 5 senses of the guard at any time. As for Senior Lu, Hongye had never seen the fighting style of a 6th-level boss. He didn't know how to give instructions, so he could only politely say, just adapt to the situation. According to the intelligence, there are 3 guards inside, all of whom are level 4. But they should have been lured away by the explosion. If they are still there. Hongye's eyes flashed coldly. Quick kill. No one objected, and they all silently mobilized the superpowers in their bodies. Which practitioner who can reach the 4th level didn't come from rolling in a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood? Otherwise where would those massive cultivation resources come from? Not everyone has enough funds for their own cultivation. Under Miao Shirlei's superpower, the wall quickly decomposed into sand, which fell loudly. An inconspicuous moth flapped its wings and rushed in first. Hongye counted 5 times silently in her heart. Seeing that no alarm was sounded, she nodded to everyone and ducked into the warehouse. In a warehouse of several hundred square meters, rows of neatly arranged shelves display a variety of chemical raw materials and finished products, some of which are packed in transparent plastic barrels, while others are sealed in metal cans. There was a faint chemical smell in the air. There was no one in the warehouse, and the only door was ajar. It seemed that the guard had left. Search all metal barrels marked with ammonium nitrate and potassium chlorate, and be careful to use your powers to check them. These 2 things can easily explode. Hongye commanded quickly. While searching in the warehouse, everyone was keeping an eye on the movement outside the door. Here. Han Jinping waved excitedly while holding a metal barrel. Hongye leaped up, tapped her toes on 2 rows of shelves, and floated to Han Jinping's side. The metal barrel had been opened by Han Jinping, and dozens of crystal cores lay quietly in the barrel. Everyone's heart beat wildly along with the surging energy fluctuations of the crystal cores. Retreat. Hongye grabbed the metal barrel and ordered without hesitation. We've made a fortune this time. There are more than 30 crystal cores in this barrel. Even if 4 people share it, at least 6 or 7 can be divided. Now I can try to impact the 5th level. Miao Shirlei's face flushed, his eyes flashed with a fiery light, his thoughts surged like a tide, and countless thoughts and ideas flashed through his mind. At this moment, a sudden change occurred. A ray of white light cut through the sky like a flash of lightning, with a sharp sound of wind, and shot at Miao Shirlei mercilessly. His pupils shrank in an instant, and the smile on his face froze into astonishment and confusion. Miao Shirlei stared blankly at the crossbow on his chest and tried to cover the wound with his hand, but blood continued to flow out from between his fingers. His face was full of pain and unwillingness. His whole body softened, and he fell to the ground, no longer breathing. A cold voice came from outside the warehouse door. A bunch of 4th-level brats. You dare to covet the things of the god cult? Do you really think my lord is merciful? An old man in a black robe stared at Hongye and others with gloomy eyes. On his dry and thin palm, a crossbow engraved with rune circuits was ready to go. The man's aura was restrained, but the energy that emanated from him proved his strength. 5th-level walker. The information is wrong. Hongye was shocked.